You said something really like fascinating that kind of threw me that most people don't know where their hips are. Is this true?
Yeah.
Most people don't know where their hips are?
People don't know where their like actual hip joint is. No.
I would put it right here. Is that right?
Your actual hip joint is like here.
Oh. I'm like, get a load of these idiots who don't know where their hips are, and then I just really like failed the test.
Hang
Like
on,
a
let me go grab my
pelvis.
pelvis. Pointy part that's like right here. And so yeah, your hip joint's like in farther than people realize.
You learn something new every day. Since people don't seem to know where their hips are, and there's a lot of misconceptions about the body, like with hips, what is the biggest misconception that you encounter when talking to your pole dancing clients about knee health specifically?
I feel like a lot of people forget that they use their knees as much as they do while pole dancing. I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, pole dancing is like really shoulder heavy, or if you do heels, they're like, oh, it's like really like ankle stability. And then the knee is just kind of this like forgotten joint that they're like, oh, whatever, until it hurts. And then people are like, oh my God, my knees are like literally killing me. A leg hook is a knee hook, right? A cupid, a genie, all of these things, you're wrapping your knee around the pole. So I think the biggest misconception is that it's not a body part that they like need to pay attention to and like give love to earlier on in their journey.
Like I'll tell my students, yeah, we're not really using our knees today. And what I mean is we're not going to be on all fours or crawling around on the ground or kneeling, but it's like, yeah, we're still using our knees.
Climbing is really knee intensive, right? Like you're squeezing in with your knees and then like squatting up a pole like over and over again. So I'm like, yeah, you've used your knees a lot. It turns out.
I'm definitely going to think twice about how I say that now. Like you said, people aren't really aware of their knees until like something goes wrong. So, what would you say is normal versus not normal to see, feel, or hear with regard to the knee joint and how it works?
In an ideal world, we're not having pain in any of our joints with any movements. That's like the gold star that we're all aiming for. Joints are designed to be noisy. And so any sort of like snack, crackle, pop that's not painful, I'm not super concerned about. If you weren't having snack, crackle, pops and then all of a sudden you are, I would want to know like what changed. Not that it's necessarily like a bad thing or like a good thing, but just if your body is doing something new, sometimes that's like a little bit of like a yellow flag of like we should maybe figure out like why all of a sudden this sensation slash sound is happening in this body part. Bruising is going to be common with what we do, but we wouldn't want there to be like really intense bruising or like a lot of swelling on a regular basis. I think people don't actually realize is that your knee is actually designed to rotate. And so like it should flex and extend. And then you should also be able to rotate your tibia on your femur.
We've talked before about preparing your body and your joints for like the load that they're going to bear. You know, we condition our muscles, we condition our bodies, and a lot of people think that like conditioning their knee is just like if I repeatedly pound it on the floor and don't wear knee pads, it'll just get used to it. And I'm like, no, that's you're not going to like toughen up your knee by conditioning it that way. I don't think you can toughen up a knee. Am I wrong?
The thing that you are describing is you're like desensitizing the nerves in that area. Like a pole sit, for an example. The first time that you did a pole sit, your inner thighs are like, fuck you. And then eventually it becomes like less, right? The skin on top of our patella is very, very thin. Yes, you're desensitizing it, and also you're putting yourself at risk of like bursitis. On one hand, I'm like, yeah, cool. Do spend some time like kneeling. That's probably like not the worst thing in the world, but then like be mindful of what structures are around that particular joint.